some events don't fade with time. They stay sharp, like a splinter lodged too deep to remove. This is one of those memories. I go to a public university in California, part of the UC system. If you're not familiar with how it works, some campuses like UCLA, Berkeley, and Santa Barbara are massive. Others, like mine, are significantly smaller. The bigger campuses host these annual events meant for incoming students. Tour days where freshmen and their families walk the campus, ask questions, and get a feel for college life. Unofficially, though, those days are just excuses for the current students to throw massive parties. Berkeley calls theirs Cal Day. Santa Barbara's is infamous. They call it Deltopia. My campus is about 2.5 hours from Santa Barbara, and while it isn't official, it's pretty common for students from smaller UCs to make the drive for Deltopia. I'd never gone before. I was never really into the party scene, crowds, drunk strangers, chaos. It all felt more exhausting than fun. But a few months ago, it hit me. It was my senior year. This was my last chance to do something stupid just because I could. So when my friends asked if I wanted to go, I said screw it. We left Friday afternoon, the day before the main event. Hunter drove. The rest of us, Damon, Benjamin, Armin, and me, were crammed into his car like sardines. All of us were over 6 feet tall, so the ride was miserable, but the time passed quickly with loud music and half-serious conversations about post-graduation life. By the time we reached Isla Vista, the sun was already sinking. Parking was a nightmare. That's not an exaggeration. Isla Vista during Deltopia is like trying to park inside a stadium after a championship game. We circled for nearly an hour before Hunter somehow convinced a sorority girl to let us take her designated spot. We laughed about it, relieved. Everything felt like it was falling into place. Hunter's sister was a junior at UCSB, and she had agreed to let us crash on the floor of her apartment. During Deltopia, a place to sleep is currency, and we knew how lucky we were. She and her roommates were relaxed, friendly, and welcoming. After dropping our stuff, we decided to pre-game with them even though the real chaos wouldn't start until morning. That's when I need to mention Amir. Hunter is the kind of guy who knows everyone. Because of that, he also knows people he'd rather not. Amir was one of those people. Calling him a friend is generous. Amir clung to social groups without ever really belonging to them. He was loud, insecure, constantly seeking validation, and somehow managed to twist every conversation back to himself. Worse than that, he'd done genuinely messed up things to people in our circle before, things I won't get into here. So no, this isn't gossip. It's earned resentment. Amir had mentioned to Hunter weeks earlier that he'd be going to Deltopia. There was never any plan to meet up, never any discussion about staying together. He wasn't part of our group. We hadn't mentioned him once on the drive down. Which is why what happened next made my stomach drop. About an hour after settling in, we walked to a liquor store to stock up. As we exited with our bags, I saw someone standing on the curb. Hands in pockets. Head tilted slightly down. Amir. None of us said a word. We just kept walking. And somehow, without invitation, without acknowledgement, he fell into step beside us. Like he'd always been there. A few blocks later, he finally spoke. "Why are you guys so surprised to see me?" I remember thinking, is this guy serious? Of course we were surprised. No one told him where we were staying. No one invited him. And yet there he was, walking beside us like this was all planned. We ignored him. That was a mistake. When we reached the apartment, Amir asked if he could use the bathroom. Hunter hesitated but eventually agreed. Amir immediately ran ahead of us. By the time we reached the door, Hunter's sister had opened it and Amir was already stepping inside. "I'm staying here," he said casually, brushing past her. She didn't know any better. She assumed he was with us. Hunter realized what had happened seconds later and exploded. I won't go into every detail, but it was bad. Hunter told Amir to leave. Told him he wasn't welcome. told him that lying to his sister crossed a line. Amir didn't take it well. He stood outside the apartment for nearly 20 minutes, arguing, pleading, trying to force his way back into our night. Eventually, he left. We drank heavily after that, trying to shake the weirdness. It wasn't until later that Hunter realized he'd been sharing his iPhone location with Amir. Amir hadn't run into us by chance. He'd tracked us. The next day was chaos in the best way. Deltopia lived up to its reputation: crowded streets, music everywhere, people drinking from sunrise to sunset. By late afternoon, we regrouped at the apartment with 5 more friends. We told them about Amir. One of them, Ryland, went pale. "I think I still have his location," he said. He pulled out his phone. The blue dot was practically on top of us. As we stared at the screen, it started moving fast. Like someone leaving in a car. We laughed it off. That was another mistake. That night, after everyone passed out drunk across the apartment, I woke up suddenly. No dream. No reason. Just awake. Then I heard it. Glass shattering. I sat upright, heart hammering, scanning the dark room. No one else moved. I grabbed the nearest thing I could find, an empty wine bottle, and crept toward the living room. The sliding balcony door was destroyed. Shards of glass glittered across the floor. A rock sat in the center. I knew who did it. As I turned to wake the others, I saw movement. The closet door handle shifted. Just slightly. I froze. I was inches from opening it when something stopped me. Instead, I backed away and woke Hunter. We returned together. The closet door was open. Empty. Hunter reached inside and pulled out a massive kitchen knife. Amir had been hiding behind the door. Waiting. We called the police, but nothing came of it. During Deltopia, property damage was common. Amir had disabled location sharing. By morning, we were gone. Before leaving, Hunter sent him a message. It never delivered. Amir had blocked all of us. He vanished. And even now, years later, knowing he knows where we live, I still check my locks twice.